Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nerd Nest. I'm Bill, and today I want to show you multiple ways that you can have essentially unlimited inputs on the Steam controller. So if that sounds good, get comfortable, get subscribed, and let's get started. So first off, I'm going to hit my Steam button, then I'm going to go to controller settings, then controller settings, and I'm going to go into edit layout. I'm going to come all the way down to virtual menu, and I'm going to add a virtual menu. One thing that I wish that would happen is this is a perfect size on a tiny little screen, but because my screen is so big, my thumb has to move a whole bunch in order to hit all of these buttons. And I just wish that they were all a little bit more compact, a little bit closer together. But anyway, you can type with your two thumbs on this trackpad. I'm going to go ahead and call this one first. Enter. And I'm going to make this a touch menu. Then I'm going to go into that touch menu. I'm going to start populating it with commands. And it doesn't really matter what I'm putting in here because none of these actually apply to this game. Just going to go through and add in a whole bunch of buttons. So I just finished adding a whole bunch of commands to this menu. Next, I need to actually assign it to my trackpad. So I'm going to back out of this. I'm going to go back into edit layout. I'm going to go down to my left trackpad, which is all the way down here. Currently, it's set to be a D-pad. I'm going to click on this, and you can see that first is all the way up there because that's what I named my menu. So now if I hit the Steam button and I touch the trackpad on the left-hand side, I now have this little menu. Keeping in mind that I'm going to be looking at this from a couch pretty far away from my TV, I think I want this menu to be bigger. So I'm going to press the Steam button. I'm going to go back down to my virtual menus. I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to come down to on-screen display and then touch menu size. I'm going to crank it all the way up to 150. If I close this, now it's much easier to see, but now I have to move my thumb a lot more in order to get from one part to another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here to in-menu sensitivity, and I'm going to increase this to 625%. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the cursor to move around in this zone a lot faster. And I think it feels about right at this point. Now, we have all of these buttons on here, but I have this giant button in the middle. So what am I going to do with that? Well, let me show you. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press my Steam button. I'm going to back out of here. I'm going to go back down to virtual menus. And I'm going to add a new virtual menu. We're going to call this one second. I am so bad at typing those. And I'm going to create a touch menu. And under second, I'm going to go ahead and add a ton of commands. So this time, instead of numbers, I decided to use letters. And if I back out of here, you can see now underneath my virtual menus, I now have two virtual menus. So a lot of people might think, okay, well, I'm going to put the second set of virtual menus on the right trackpad, but I don't want to do that because I'm going to use the right trackpad for my mouse or some other control in the game. So how do I put both of these virtual menus on just the left trackpad? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. The way that I'm going to show you first is through action sets. So if I'm going to go into action sets, and you see the gear icon. If I click on that, I can then add a layer. Now, basically, the way that the layers work is it's going to replace one of the inputs on your Steam controller, or as many as you want, with something else whenever you activate this layer. So I'm going to name this layer second. So it corresponds to the same name that I'm putting on here. And now we have a new action layer. In order to activate that action layer, what you might not have noticed is over here on the top, we now have action set and it says default. And if I press R1, now it says default second. And if we go to my trackpads, you can see that my left trackpad behavior, it says first inherited, but if I'm on default, it just says first. So what that means is this is going to inherit all of the controls from the default action set. But if I go over to left trackpad, I can say, well, instead, I'm going to set this to second. All right, so now I've got that set to second. So anytime I'm in my default action layer, this will show the first virtual menu. And anytime I'm in my second action layer, it's going to show the second left trackpad menu. So how do I activate that? Well, you might want to use something like triggers. You don't have to use triggers. You could use a lot of different things. Now, before I make my change, I want to make sure that I'm making the change to my default action set. So I'm going to push L1 to switch back over to default. I'm going to go up to my buttons, and I'm going to go down to my triggers, and then my right trigger behavior. I'm going to set this to activate that action set. The reason I'm using the right trigger is because my left thumb is busy doing things over here. And so I don't want my my left index finger to have to hold down while I'm doing that. I find it's easier if I activate on the right hand side and then do something with my left thumb. So I'm going to go into the trigger and I'm going to go to action sets. It usually comes up with gamepad. You can just use the bumpers to tab between them. And I'm going to go down to hold action set layer. And it's going to show me the layers that I have made. And right now I only have one layer, and I'm going to say that that's second. It says here display name when changed. That works like half the time. I don't know why it doesn't work every time. And then beep when changed. You'll get a little beep coming out of the controller when you activate it. So if I hit confirm, and by the way, sometimes the beeps don't work, and I'm not sure why. But now that I've hit confirm, if I go back to Steam and I touch the left button menu or the left trackpad menu, you can see that I've got numbers. But if I pull the trigger, you can't hear it, but I just heard a little beep come out of the controller. If I pull the trigger, there's a little vibration haptic feedback that tells me you just switched an action layer. There's a sound that tells you that. It's supposed to show it on screen, but it doesn't. But now when I touch the menu, now it's letters. So numbers, letters. You have infinite inputs. Now, there's another way that you can do this, because maybe all of your other buttons are already used for something in the game that you're playing. And you're like, well, okay, how do I then get between these two menus easily? So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to press the Steam button. Whoops. I'm going to hit edit layout. I'm going to go back down to my triggers, and I'm going to remove that command by pressing X, a little shortcut for you. You can remove commands by just pressing X on them instead of having to go in and delete it. Once I do that, I'm going to go down to my virtual menus. I'm going to go into my first virtual menu, and I'm going to go all the way down to this bottom one that's in the middle. And this is why I added so many, because I wanted to have one that was dead center in the middle. I could have also set this up as a radial menu, and then it would look like this instead. But I like the squareness of this matched with the squareness on the user interface. All right, so now I'm going to go all the way down to that F2 command. I'm going to change it from F2 to action set, and I'm going to say add action set layer. So I'm going to hit add action set layer. I'm going to set it to set second. I'm going to hit confirm, and now you notice it no longer says F2. It says that it's going to go to a different layer, and it's got its own little symbol for that. If I want to change symbols, if I want to say, okay, this is like my cooking menu or something, I can change that menu. And then you can see that we've got a little like explanation up above that. And there's a couple of things I can do. I can either hide that by going to on-screen display. By going to general and saying show command glyph. I can get rid of that if I want to. Or if I want to, I can go back into commands and I can come all the way down to that button and I can say, rename the command, and we'll say that this is numbers. God, I can't type. Not mumbers. You know what? Mumbers is it? Mumbers it is. Sound off with mumbers down in the in the comments. But I'm going to go ahead and close this. And if I bring this up, you can see we've got all of my little buttons. If I hover over this one, it says mumbers. And if I click it, now it's going to jump into this set. The only problem is now I don't have any way to get back, but that's okay because I can easily fix this. Let me go ahead and press the Steam button, and we're going to hop out of that virtual menu. We're going to go into our letters virtual menu, which is the second one. And I'm going to go all the way down to F and replace F with action set, remove action set layer, confirm. And I'm going to change this to, well, it was numbers before, then it was letters. Oh, I just realized I messed something up, but that's okay. And we'll say that this is rename the command. I just named it the wrong thing. So I'm going to call this numbers, spelling it right this time. BERS, enter. All right. So now that's numbers. And then I'm going to go back to the other command, the first command, and we're going to rename this letters. Rename command. All right. So now, if I close this, if I touch the menu, it brings up all the numbers. Okay. If I hover over here, it says, well, let's change that to letters. If I click in, hold on. Okay. Now there seems to be a problem here because if I click in, what happens is I'm clicked in and then it switches back. So let's change this. Let's make this work for us. We're going to go down to general, touch menu activation style. I'm going to say touch release, and I'm going to do the same thing for my other virtual menu. I think that's this one. Set this to touch release. And now if I bring it up, it says letters. I'm not going to push in. I'm just going to let go. And then when I touch again, it's going to be numbers, letters, numbers, letters, numbers, letters, letters, numbers, numbers, letters. It works perfectly. The only thing is that I want these to look a little bit different. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into my second one, and I'm going to use the on-screen display, and I'm going to move it to the right a little bit. So now when I'm in my numbers, it's right here. When I switch over to letters, now it's over here. We're back to numbers. We're back to letters. And it's easy to get through, and you can set up as many things as you want on here. And I want to remind everybody about our Parody merch store. If you check out the link down below, I've got 3 brand new designs that I think you guys are going to love. We have He Doesn't Like You, Schrodinger's Console, and DRM. I've been having so much fun coming up with designs for these things, and I really, really like the way that they turned out. So links down below. Let's get back to the tutorial. Next, I want to show you how you can bind multiple actions to the same input. So here I've chosen MMO because it has buttons along the bottom, and you guys can easily see which buttons I'm firing off when I'm doing this. So I'm going to press my Steam button, and I'm going to go into my controller settings, and I'm going to go into edit layout, and I'm going to make this very simple. I'm just going to do it to my regular buttons. So I'm going to use A. So if I press A, I'm going to say set that to be 2. And if I close this, I'm going to run my character down here to the little targeting dummy, and I'm going to push the A button, and that's going to use my 2 ability to attack. And it works exactly as you would expect it would. But if I press the Steam button, maybe I want more than one thing to happen at a time. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to the gear button, and I'm going to add a sub command. Now a sub command basically is pushing 2 buttons at the same time. So now I'll select 4. And if I press the Steam button, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to point my cursor at this guy. And when I push A, you're going to see both the 2 button and the 4 button skills activate on this attack. You see they both happened at the same time. Now, how often would you actually need that in this particular game? You probably wouldn't, and that's okay. I'm just showing how subcommands work. However, maybe I have a lot of inputs and I'm having trouble squeezing them all onto my controllers, so that's where extra commands comes in. Subcommands basically just does 2 things at the same time. Let's see how extra commands are different. I'm going to press my Steam button. I'm going to press X to remove that, and then I'm going to press X to delete that subcommand. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gear, and I'm going to go to add extra command, and I'm going to set that to be my 4 button. And if I press this, whoops, I didn't mean to push that button, and I come down here, and we target this targeting dummy, and I press my A button. Well, what do you know? It works exactly the same way. So what is the difference between extra commands and subcommands? Here's how it works. Because this is an extra command, now I have the ability to change how this works. So I'm going to press the gear button. And instead of having this be a regular press, I'm going to set this to be a double press. So now The way it works is if I press A once and then I press A twice quickly, it's going to execute 4. So check it out. I come down to my targeting dummy. We target this guy. I press it once. It executes my 2 command. If I double tap it, it executes my 4 command. My 2 commands just about off cooldown, so I'm going to press it once again. It activates just the 2 command. And then in 10 seconds, my 4 command is going to be ready to go. And all I would have to do is double tap. But guess what? I don't have to stop there. If I press the Steam button again, I can add yet another extra command. And we'll say that this is going to be my 7 ability. Okay. I'm going to come down to my 7 ability. I'm going to go to the cogwheel. I'm going to set this to be, we'll say it's going to be a long press. So now that means I have to hold it. So I'm going to press my Steam button. 1 button pushes the 2 command. That pressing it twice fires off the 4 command, and pressing and holding it fires off the 7 command. And so that's how you can put like just 3 inputs just on 1 button. You could also set it up so that you could have 1 button fire when you press it and then another button fire when you release it. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to press my Steam button. I'm going to change this command to from double press to release press, and command 1 I'm going to set from regular press to start press. So now when I push the A button, it's going to fire off the first command, which is number 2. And when I release it, it's going to fire off the 4. So I'm going to hit Steam and target this guy. 2 and 4, right? Like fired off, not exactly at the same time. I'm going to wait for this cooldown to finish, and then I'm going to do it again. This time I'll wait a little bit, and we'll see if we have to worry about the fact that I also have the 7 on here with a long press. So 2, 4, and that actually just fired off. It looks like it tried to fire off 7 at the same time, and firing off 4 did not work. So let's remove that 7 from there. We'll try this one more time. 2, 4, and it works wonderfully. Okay, but that means I can also just set my 7 to be my double command, and let's see if that works. So we're gonna go up here, add extra command. Gonna go to 7. This is going to be double press. My gut tells me that this is not going to work. So 2, 4. And then if I want to fire off 7, I want to double tap it. Let me aim at this guy. Well, it looks like it worked, but we'll wait until my cooldowns are all done. Okay, so my cooldowns are all done. I'm going to try and fire off the 7 command. And firing off the 7 command actually also fired off my 2 and my 4. So it looks like if you're doing this way, the only way that you can really do 3 commands is by doing setting the first command to be a regular press, set the second command to be a double press, and set the third command to be a long press. Now, if I go into here, into my double press, I can also hit settings, and I can change how long it takes me to have that double tap. All right, so if I increase this all the way up to 1,000, now before I had to push it relatively quickly. This time I set it to have 1,000 millisecond display or delay in order to still register as a double tap. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm going to tap, tap, and you can see that that double tap still activated that skill. And I could wait a full second between taps in order to activate that. If I don't want double taps to happen by accident, then what you want to do is you want to come down here, go into your double tap settings, and then lower this way down. So you have to hit it really fast in order for it to fire off. Whoops, hold on. Hit close. And I just double tapped, but it didn't work. I'm not fast enough. My fingers just are not fast enough. So we go back in here. Into the gear icon, into settings, and I'm going to press X to reset this to default, and we'll see if we can actually get that to fire off. So 2 is a single press, 4 is a double press, 7 is a hold press. So we'll try that one more time. point at this guy. 2. Okay, that worked. Double press for 4. Hold for 7. And I think that's going to do it for us today. If you have not already subscribed, please do so. I've got regular gaming news as well as tutorials like this one. And I have a weekly podcast where I get together with myself, my friends, and we chat about all the gaming news of the week. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Stay rad, everybody.